Hello and welcome to this presentation and demonstration of Asite project workflow. My name is Alan Drum. I'm the Vice President of Solution Engineering for North America. And today what I'd like to take you through is an introduction of Asite's project workflow dashboard capabilities. We'll discuss briefly how they're configured to allow users to quickly and easily access the information on the Asite project workflow platform, as well as covering in a lot of detail today. We'll go through documents, files, and what I like to call electronic assets. And then we'll cover how those electronic assets, documents, files, plans, photos, whatever the case may be, can then be moved through various workflows, either in manual distribution, automated distribution, the notifications that users will receive, and the reviews and the revisions that are available through our online document viewer. So with that, let's get started, and I'll take you through an introduction of the Asite Project Workflow platform. So as the user is oriented during the login, as you can tell, we're logged into a browser, Google Chrome. I'm directly into the platform at this point, and I'm presented with a dashboard. This one happens to be my primary system dashboard. Users have the ability to select from multiple dashboards as they're configured by their system administrators or shared from other users, or users also have the ability to create their own dashboards. And once they create the dashboard, add a number of what we call gadgets or widgets that pull from a library of various types that allow users to really organize and provide the data that's important to them through the course of their day-to-day management of the information on the Asite platform. So for today's purposes, what I'd like to do is just take you through a couple of the things that I've configured as we talk about files, documents, and electronic assets. Specifically, the files and documents gadget that I've configured here. What this is a list of my most frequently used or favorite documents. I can use this as a navigation tool so that I can quickly click on the hyperlink and it takes me to the appropriate files area focused on the actual folder for the particular drawings, and then a log view of all those drawings that are associated within that particular folder. So as I look at the drawings area within the platform, what I'm presented with are, again, all of the active documents. You'll notice that this is in a log view. We can configure all of the electronic assets in various folders. Each of the folders may have various permissions that are associated with it. I can also set very specific settings to watch for changes within any particular area. So, I may be looking for various revisions. I may want to be instantly notified of a change. I can look at files and look at any time a revision is uploaded, if a new discussion is started. Again, all the things that I'm going to be showing you about being able to manage the electronic assets and move them through the collaboration and workflows can all be really configured to be watched and notified for the users, even beyond their typical involvement with any of the specific workflows. So with that, as we look across the log of files, you'll notice obviously date, the file type. Our platform will support and our viewer will support over 300 different file types. So you're seeing here DWG, PDF, whatever the case may be. And so as we go into this, each file can be represented in the viewer. And in this particular case, this file happens to be revision number 1. Immediately, I'm able to see that there were prior revisions, in this case, that had gone through a particular workflow and were set to be revised and resubmit. It's currently in a rejected status. I'm the next reviewer. I'm to take action on this and then provide, the appropriate updated status here as appropriate. So with that, what you'll also be able to see is that I've got a number of different annotations that are being presented to me in this view from any of the collaborators that were invited to collaborate on this particular document. And one of the ways that we can actually see that is understanding when and where the document has gone through particular workflow. So if I can go directly to the workflow tab and see that this drawing is running in a workflow. And so this workflow had set it out to distribute it to the construction manager and to a reviewer, and it currently sits in these areas with the red. And so I'm actually one of the reviewers, and it's expecting me to change the status. So at any given time, I can see a document where it sits in a particular automated workflow. And we'll cover workflow in more detail in a future session. But workflows can be tied to any document type. They can be initiated automatically upon file upload, or they could be initiated manually at a user's discretion. But again, designed to get the information to the right people at the right time for the appropriate action. Again, files then can be annotated, as I mentioned earlier. Those annotations, as they're made, can have discussion threads associated with them. So you'll notice here it was sent out for revisions and comment to one recipient. You can see who that was. And then you can also see that it was moved again after a markup was done by this user, AD2, happens to be me. You can see the comment that I made on the plan by isolating that particular comment that I made at that particular point during the review. And then at that point, I actually distributed it to 14 additional recipients because I wanted the project team to be aware of the change that needed to be made. And then it was moved back through, or actually in this case, approved or rejected by me on this particular date. So again, history of the workflow, visibility to the collaboration and the discussion, all available directly from within the platform. So the last thing that I wanted to note here is the ability to manage revisions. So as I talked about before, I'd gone through iteration number one. That was the original file. I then went through this current iteration or revision, which I've also rejected. I may want to understand why. And so at any time, I can compare previous versions together. So I can compare any file version, either one iteration back, or if this had multiple revisions at any point in time, I could take two files and compare them. I would be able to compare them side by side like I'm doing here. And in some cases, that's appropriate where I may want to look at something side by side. And in other cases, I may want to do more of an overlay and allow the system to find the changes between the two documents. So, as I'm looking at a revision to a plan or a document, were those changes actually incorporated as I'd expected, or do I need to do additional review, markup, distribution, whatever the case may be? So again, a great way to ensure collaboration and that the appropriate information is annotated and provided and preserved within the particular document. So with that, that gives a little bit of idea of what can be done within the platform. I am going to actually change this status to revise and resubmit. So we had rejected it. Now we need the revisions as annotated and return new and submit new version, right? So we'll say submit new version, and that's it. And at this point, this is off and running. And it will be changed successfully. And with that, I'd like to conclude by just saying that what we covered today was really about the dashboards, the document files, and electronic assets. We had a preliminary review of workflow and how the reviews and revisions could be done collaboratively on the platform. And again, for your project teams, increasing visibility to get them to the right information at the right time for the appropriate action. Obviously, it's going to help increase productivity for any of your project team constituents, both internal and external. And then finally, certainly improving and increasing the collaborative capabilities on the platform so that we can see that collaboration, look at the history of the collaboration, understand the life cycle of a particular document, without all of the pain of manually managing revisions and then moving information through traditional methods like Excel logs or spreadsheets and email. So with that, Asite project workflow is purpose built to really help teams deliver change to the way the assets are designed, built, and managed.